she checked the Boston weather. Some weekends, the rumor of Seattle sun would finally prove true. Last month, Leo had called Eleanor for a Sunday sail on the same boat that was now her only hope of a getaway. He was always the most at home on water. "Think I'll stay in," Eleanor had demurred. "Nonsense," Leo said. Leonard Cushman, her boss and mentor, was a man used to getting his way, especially with Eleanor, whom he considered his protege, perhaps even his heir, at the pharmaceutical company Fortura. "I'm swamped," she'd stalled. "My brother's not doing well." "Frankie's never doing well," Leo snapped. Eleanor hesitated. Maybe she should go, especially if Leo suspected her betrayal. For the first time in their years of working together, Eleanor was afraid of Leo. She worried he'd somehow found out she was covertly cooperating with the Justice Department's FBI investigation to expose Fortura's culpability in creating the opioid crisis. If Leo knew of her mutiny, he would not only have fired her, but he might also have hired someone to silence her. Leo was brutal in his business dealings. There was even a rumor another whistleblower at Fortura had suffered a suspicious death on Leo's boat. She had refused the invitation, so was grateful when just several weeks later, Leo showed up uninvited at her twin brother's funeral. Frankie's death was not a surprise. Eleanor had long dreaded it, but his loss threatened to unhinge her. Frankie had died after an overdose of neocodone, an opiate Eleanor and Leo had created. Leo arrived late to the gravesite carrying a bouquet of white roses, Eleanor's favorite. Tentatively, he touched her shoulder as they stood together in the Seattle drizzle, its soft, mournful patter a fugue. "Don't know what to say, Eleanor." The raindrops from his stylish hat dripped onto her raincoat. "I am so very sorry." "Please take your hat off, Leo," she said under her breath. What she wanted to scream was, "This is your fault. This is our fault." "Your brother was in so much pain." Leo's voice was uncharacteristically gentle. He reserved his authoritative baritone for other employees. "Frankie's pain was bearable," Eleanor murmured. "His addiction was not." Leo visibly flinched. "I know how dearly you'll miss your brother, Ellie." He always deferred to Eleanor, as if sensing both her sensitivity and rebelliousness. Eleanor's startling eyes, the color of dark lilacs, were too penetrating to be traditionally pretty, her body almost boyish, and her mind quick and intriguing. At work and in her personal life, she was discerning, aloof. Her twin brother's addiction and her demanding job had taken up most of her time. With his self-assured, trim physique and thick salt and pepper curls, Leo often charmed women, but not Eleanor. In their early days, Leo had informed her, "I respect you, not just for those swank Harvard credentials you don't flaunt at cocktail parties, but also," he'd added with a smile, "for your passion about everything except me. It's a relief, really. No fawning. You're my favorite nemesis." At the graveside, Leo took off his hat and lowered his head. He reached out to take Eleanor's arm, but Eleanor stepped back. She shook her flame-red hair, flattened and frizzy from the rain. Her high cheekbones seemed more sculpted, suggesting she'd lost weight. Her brow was etched with grief, her usually expressive eyes a bloodshot smear. For the first time, Eleanor mirrored her twin's gaunt desperation. "You can't hold yourself responsible, Eleanor," Leo said. "Or me. There are so many psychological triggers for addiction besides drugs." She held her tongue. Leo had a point. Her brother had been depressed much of his adult life. Eleanor feared if it hadn't been their neocodone, it might have been meth or alcohol or some other drug that destroyed Frankie. The twins' father had died young from a climbing accident on Mount Rainier, attempting the same treacherous ice crevices into which Frankie later fell and broke his leg. The injury left Frankie in chronic pain. Their mother, an American history professor at Boston University, had named them after the two people she most admired, Eleanor and Franklin Roosevelt.